and thanks for visiting my channel. Today we're going to go over the famous Eagles song, Hotel California. It is one of the most common searches on YouTube for guitar lessons, Hotel California. And for some guitar players, it's a rite of passage. It's, you can finally play Hotel California. In my early years of guitar playing many years ago, I learned a basic way to play Hotel California, for just hanging out in somebody's house and playing the songs, but I never nailed it down because the gigs I was doing and concerts and clubs, we didn't play the song Hotel California, so I never had to really learn it the right way. So now, decades later, I've decided I'm going to figure out how it really goes. So I hope you enjoy this part of it. And as in my figuring it out, unfortunately, I found that on YouTube, there are a lot of tutorials and lessons on Hotel California, but they kind of do it the way I used to do it, kind of fudging some of it and picking a note here because I think it sounds good. And just playing around with it like I would, maybe like the song, but not exactly like the song. So they don't seem to have the correct version. I'm sure there's some out there, but the ones I found aren't correct. And even Don Felder's version shows him playing it in a different key with a 6-string instead of a 12-string and doing it not like the original record. And I'm sure the Eagles never played the song exactly the same way twice. So if you're doing it your own way, that's great. But I wanted to find out how the original recording went. And Don Felder wrote a majority of the song, but live, Glenn Frey ended up playing the 12-string acoustic part, so he obviously wouldn't play it the same way Don Felder would play it. And so in my quest to find out how it really goes, I found that you can slow down YouTube videos. Light bulb went on, this old guy found a different way to learn. Back in the day when I learned songs, we had what's called a record player, and you take the needle, you start the beginning of the song, and you listen to a few bars, then you move the needle back to the beginning, start the song again, listen to a few bars, figure out what you're hearing, and then figure out how to play it after doing that 50 times, and then you move the needle over a little bit and learn the next part of it. So I was able to, on YouTube, take Hotel California and slow it down to 3/4 speed or half speed, because there's that settings button down in the right corner of YouTube videos that gives you the ability to adjust the playback speed, and the pitch remains the same. Now, when I started to listen to it, I put on headphones, which are essential for really listening to songs, in my opinion, because listening to it on a device or a computer or an iPad, the audio quality is not complete. So I used my headphones, and I found that what Don Felder was doing originally on the studio recording was busier than I thought and a lot more nuanced. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to show you is my opinion and my version of what I hear in the song. And my ear isn't perfect, but I have studied music in college, worked professionally as a musician for many years, learned thousands of songs by ear, taught students how to learn by ear, how to read music, music theory, all those things. And I transcribed very complex musical passages as part of my schooling. So I do have a little bit of qualification in it, but at school I met players that were much more qualified than me, and they've gone on to very successful music careers. So at the end of the day, this is my interpretation of how it goes. So we're going to start, number one, with the easy part, the chords, which you may already know, but we're going to quickly go through that. The original version has a capo on fret 7 of a 12-string guitar. Okay, so here are the basic chords. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an 8-measure phrase. The first chord you play as an E minor, but it's actually a B minor chord. Okay, the second chord is you play it as a B 7th, but it's actually an F sharp 7th. The third chord is a add 2, but it's actually an A add 2 or sus2. That's a sus2 because there's no third. And then the fourth chord, fourth measure, is G sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is the actual chord here. Down here would be a C sharp minor 7 flat 5. The next chord you play is a C, but it's actually a G chord, and that's the traditional C form. The next chord you play as a G chord, but it's actually a D. And then you do an E minor 7th, which is actually A minor 7th. And then the last chord back to the B 7th or F sharp 7th. So it's so those are the chords that you're going to play. All right. That doesn't sound like Hotel California. That sounds like the chords to Hotel California. Now, let's look at how it's strummed, picked, actually. It's not strummed, it's picked. So I'm going to do this very slowly and put the tab up here. Normally I don't use tab. I've never really learned anything using tab. I've always learned by ear or actual sheet music. But I think in this case tab is useful. I found some online tab thing and put it together. Hopefully you can read the tab pretty well, and I'll try to put some of the information in PDFs that you can link to below here. So the first chord being the E minor form, or B minor, goes like this. Hang on a minute. Let's try that again. Follow the tab. So it's do, da ka da ka ka do. Da da do da ga da ga da do. Then the next chord, if you notice, this is important. If you do 2, 3 for the E minor chord, it's going to work out much better because the next chord is the B 7th. You leave your second finger where it is. You put your third finger down on this string, on the G string. Your pinky goes down here on the E string, 2nd fret, and your first finger goes on the D string. So if you notice, that change requires very little movement of my hand. Now that is very important. There are anchor fingers here, that this finger, the second finger, stays on the 2nd fret of the A string. Third finger moves down here, this goes there. So again, fingerings are very important, and oftentimes you use different fingerings for the same chord when it's in between 2 other chords. And this is a good example of that. So it's the E, I'll call it the E minor. That's not quite right. It's the actual part is, and I'll slow it down and look at the tab. Again, that's the B 7th form or the F sharp 7th chord. I have to look at my tab here. Again, it's okay. So the 2 of them together. I'll have to get it right this time. To the D sus. And now, again, the fingering, I advise a D chord is usually like this, but I find it more efficient to put my 2nd finger here and 3rd finger here, leave the E string open like this, and you'll see why, because it goes follow the tab. Okay, again, doing the D add 2, D sus2. And again, this one is, let's try it again. Okay, very slow now. So now we're through the first 4 measures. Let's start at the beginning one more time, doing the E minor. Now we're going to go to the G chord. It's the C chord, so we're going to do it like this. Okay, here it is again. Measure 6. Again, measure 6. So 5 and 6 together are this. I know, it's a lot of work on this one. The last 2 measures are the A minor, or E minor, and the B7th, which is actually F sharp 7th. So here we go, 2, 3, A minor. I'll slow it down. There we go, that's the end of it. Now, I do have the documents attached, and I'm happy that you were able to view this video. I hope you found it helpful. And I do have other videos. Please feel free to comment on this one. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you have any other songs or techniques or music theory things you're interested in learning. I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you very much.